should have seen his little face. Just try, okay? I'm going to bed. I love you.
If there's one scene from the MCU that's truly stood out to me, it would be this moment from the end of Captain America Civil War, that I think hits at the very core of its conflicted thematic throughline, by revealing why its main antagonist, Zemo, does what he does.
I told my wife, don't worry. They're fighting in the city. We're miles from harm. And the dust cleared. And the screaming stopped. It took me 2 days until I found their bodies. And the Avengers? They went home.
Zemo blames the Avengers for his family's death, and to an extent he's not wrong, as one of its most prominent members, Tony Stark, is responsible for creating the very same sentient AI that, though originally built to protect Earth, would later go on to instigate the Battle of Sokovia. Just as we're shown the consequences of Tony's actions at the start of the movie, when a grieving mother confronts him about her son's death, also in Sokovia, in Zemo we see another victim of his recklessness. Even when trying to do the right thing, these heroes' antics still cause unforeseen tragedies, and more often than not leave everyone else to pick up the pieces in its aftermath, whilst they go off to fight yet another battle. It's that idea that's always made Civil War come across to me less as a movie about the politics of superpowers, and more about the ways in which people react to disaster. Whether that be in arguing about the necessity for government intervention to ensure such things never happen again, or in the vendettas some swear against their perpetrators to cope with such unimaginable loss. In this sense, Zemo, as well as being a representation of Tony's paranoia about a lack of accountability for his and others' actions, also acts as a dark reflection of T'Challa, who himself is lost in the midst of a grief-fueled quest for revenge, following his father's death, in the very explosion that Zemo orchestrated.
I'm sorry about your father. He seemed a good man.
Both we and T'Challa see how Zemo's pain has blinded him to the consequences of his actions, pushing him to further and further extremes, and ironically leading him to perpetuate the very same cycle of tragedy he was initially driven by.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
Even the scene's visuals can be seen as highlighting the clarity it brings to this situation. Just moments earlier in the abandoned Hydra facility, where Tony and Steve, two heroes with differing ideals of heroism who once considered each other friends, were and still are locked in combat, things are dark and grey and difficult to fully distinguish. But outside, there's a stark contrast between the dark of Zemo and T'Challa's outfits, and the rocky outcrop of the cliff, and the lighter hues of the snow beneath their feet and the clouds hanging over their heads. This scene quite literally makes everything black and white. It's easy to see things for what they truly are. And though the living may yet have their way with Zemo, the damage is already done. His plan leaves the Avengers, and more specifically Tony and Steve, so divided that the organization splits apart. And he achieved this with all the odds stacked against him. Sure, as an ex-soldier he has a certain set of skills that prove to be incredibly useful, but it's nothing compared to the godlike capabilities that the Avengers have at their disposal.
I knew I couldn't kill them. More powerful men than me have tried. But if I could get them to kill each other...
Long before Thanos would balance the universe, Zemo brought Earth's mightiest heroes to their knees with a few clever tricks. It may not be exactly what he wanted, but by the time he's done, the Avengers are broken. In many ways, Zemo won. This conversation between two men in mourning black brings to light not only what makes Zemo such an interesting character, but also the consequences of its hero's actions, where even the most well-intentioned of decisions can have disastrous and long-lasting ramifications, and don't realize it until it's too late. And for me, it's what makes this moment such a marvelous scene. And yeah, those are my thoughts. I know I'm quite late with this, but better late than never, as they say. For anyone who doesn't know what's going on, around the end of April, Nando V Movies and a whole bunch of other YouTubers came together in celebration of Endgame's release to make a bunch of videos that each discuss in-depth one marvelous scene from the MCU and what they think makes it so great, and invited anyone who wants to hop in and do the same. And I thought it'd be fun just to throw in my 2 cents. Though it did take a while to get around to, and by the time I actually started making it, someone called Key to Eternity ended up talking about this exact same scene. But that video had a drastically different take on it, because he focused on what it all represented for T'Challa, and kinda goes to show how marvelous this scene really is, with how such different ideas can be taken away from it with such a simple shift in focus. It's crazy. I'll link his video and the One Marvelous Scene playlist in the description. Anyway, let me know what you think, if you agree, disagree, what you think the most marvelous scene of the MCU is, etc, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, check out my last video, where I discuss my thoughts on the way the MCU has developed over the years, and the influence it's had on our modern media landscape. Or watch me ramble about my top things of spring 2019. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe to come fly with me. You can also follow me on Twitter for more updates on this channel and other stuff, and hopefully, I'll see you later.